Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Um, for this week and for next week, this recording will be also for the general public. So if you allow me a few minutes to just address some of the questions I've been getting on Facebook and on YouTube from people who haven't seen me for a long while. So one of the questions that came most often was that, where are you? Well, for those of you who are not in my group, that's a very valid question because you don't know where I am. But for those who are in my group, they know where I am. I'm in my group, and we have been for last year, we have been upgrading the group as much as we can, which means we have moved from Slack to Workplace. I've done interviews with all my traders, live video interviews with all my traders, find out how they're doing, what they're doing, where they are, and what's happening in their trading career. We have upgraded the way we work in our trading room, which means we're documenting trades, we're keeping stats. We did it a couple of months last year. We're now starting it back this year. Well, so far the first week, not much trading. I think this week there wouldn't be much trading as well because of the U.S. elections and the swearing in and all of that and all those stuff until it's settled in the U.S. When things are settled, I think you can go back to normal trading. There's still some trades. People have been making trades, making small profits, but huge movements are not there. We do have huge movements coming. I've done a daily webinar for my traders, which is on the daily charts, showing you the long-term trades coming. It's in our group. I will redo the webinar for you guys at the end of the 2 weeks. So what you're going to get for this 2 weeks, if you're watching this free webinar, what you're getting here is my daily update. This webinar is that I do every day for my traders, and this is how you're going to get it, the way I do it for my traders, maybe with a few less details that I would normally give to my traders. So if you're watching this, it's going to be a series of starting today's date, which is the 18th, for 2 weeks. So that will probably take us to the end of January. So any one of them you see within this time, you can go back and watch all of them. They're valid for a day or a week or so, but if you want longer term one, I'll put out the daily one, which is longer term forecast. And if you want to know more about my group, well, you can contact me. So let me just write the contact number where you can contact me. You can contact me on Skype or on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook page, ProWave Edge. I'll probably show the Facebook page sometime at the end, and the Skype is, if you type, let me type that one, MANGAL Mango 457. That's my Skype name. You can find me, send me a message if you're interested in our group and what we do. You will get all the details there. So let's go. I'll start with the dollar index as usual. I'm on the daily because we did the daily in the dollar index, and only the dollar index I'm going to give the daily value, because if you have the daily value of the dollar index, you can probably tell where most of the majors are going to go. So if you come here, what we're looking for is we're anticipating that this would very likely become a flat. That's the first option we have of what we think is going to happen, is that you're going to have a flat here, and then we're going to have another move up. So there is still some more down move here. We're assuming that there's still some more down move before we start the next move up. And once this structure is finished, we should be going down, right? That is based on wave analysis, the way we look at it. So if you're watching this video for the very, very first time, I should inform you that the method I'm using is called wave analysis. If you have no idea what that is and how we use it and how it works, you can check some more of my video, or you can send me a Skype message, and you will get more information about it. So we haven't broken the low, and based on the analysis we're doing, based on the pattern we're looking for, is that this is going to be a simple pattern. So we're anticipating that it will drop, break the low, and then go back up. That is a regular flat. Now, sometimes they don't break the low in a contracting flat pattern and go back up. In that case, you have to wait for confirmation of the up move starting. Because if it's going up a little, that doesn't mean anything. If it's going up a little, that doesn't mean anything. If it's going up a little, that doesn't mean anything. This little up move doesn't mean anything as yet. It could still drop. That could simply be a smaller correction in the pattern. So on the daily, we need to figure out whether this is going to be a corrective structures, and corrective structures, they have distinctive features like this one, and like this one. They have very distinctive features. So the question is whether this one will become a corrective structure, drop one more and then go, or if this is going to go up. That's your only question, because that would depend on that. You will decide what to do. On the 4 hour, I think we made a flat here. We could assume that this is either the flat or part of the flat, which is this one. That would be what we'll call a contracting flat. And we're making 1, 2, either this is going to end here, go back down like this, come back here and drop, or it could drop from this point, right? Can it continue to go? Yes, that is if we're going for the longer term up trade, which means if we're going to have a weekly contracting flat and this is starting to go, you will eventually get a daily correction, not a small one like this. So in this case, we would consider today whether we're going to have a trade for the upside, one more short impulse, which is short term, or whether this is going to come back down, give us a flag, and give us a trade for the downside. That would be our analysis for today. On the 1 hour, if you look at it in the 1 hour, there's a high probability you'll probably get a flag here. If we assume that that is a contracting flat, you'll get a flag there and you'll continue to go. So if we get a small correction here today, we'll be looking for a buy. There is no sell setup, which means we can't sell it where it is today based on the analysis we use. It will have to drop, it will have to make a correction, and then we'll confirm the downside. So for today in the dollar index, we're assuming you might get some more consolidation here. I don't think it's going right now. We could get some more consolidation there, and then we should be taking off. So we'll be looking for a buy setup if we get that structure. By the way, I should also warn those who don't know how what I do and what is wave analysis. This is only the analysis. This is only one part of the trading, the analysis. The second part of the trading that you need to do is the strategy, which means if you're watching me for the first time and you said, okay, this guy said it's going to go up, I can buy. That's not what we do. What I'm doing right now is giving my traders the view for today and tomorrow. Now, we will have to have the setup, which means the strategy will have to be working based on the rules we have. Only then they can take the trade. And then we have money management rules, we have risk management rules, and we have trade management rules, which means rules on how you're going to manage the trade once you're already in the trade, if you got in. So it's not as easy. What you're getting here is just my daily analysis. You're not getting how I trade, right? But to get that, you have to be in our group and go through in the trading room. So we're looking, if we get the conditions here, if we get that pattern we're looking for, or the flag or a small correction, we're looking for a buy setup. Silver dropped. We're looking for the sell. I think we will continue to get more sell in the silver, at least until we break this low. It is very likely we can come break this low, and then we're going to see what happens. If we get flag, we'll continue to sell. Can this correction become bigger than it is right now? Yes, that happens. I can show you an example of where that happened. For example, I think we've got a correction somewhere here. Dropped and then make a bigger correction before they finally drop. So if this is a small correction, then there's a high probability it can drop some more, go back up, and then drop. I still think we're looking for the downside as of now, because on the 1 hour, you're getting a flag here. If it continues to make this flag, we would look for a sell setup. If it goes up higher, we will wait for flags before we can buy. Which means if it's going to make a bigger correction, we don't have a buy setup as it stands right now. Gold, we were selling also last week. So if you sold anywhere in here or anywhere here, you're probably out of that trade. If you took this last flag that was here, you probably got out for break even, right? If the flag was there, then the rule is you should close the trade for break even. Can this continue to go down? Maybe. We don't have sell setups. Is it going to make a higher upside? We don't know that as yet. We don't have enough information for that. So we don't have a sell setup right now. We also don't have a buy setup. If it makes a flag here, we'll get a buy setup, which means silver might go up a little more. So if it makes a flag there, we will get a buy setup on gold. Big picture, I think gold is going down. At least we are expecting it to come back to about this level. So even if this goes up a little more, we'll just be looking for a bigger correction here and downside. That is based on the patterns we look at right now, if that happens. Euro, it's coming down. We're in the daily, it's coming down, but we are anticipating that Euro will go break this top. By the way, I clean for my traders. You may not see anything on my charts because for the weekly webinars I'm doing, I took off everything. Right, over the weekend I took off everything from my charts, so you wouldn't see anything in them. All the lines I have on, they're all gone. So most of the charts are just blank charts you're going to be seeing. That is information from my traders because you'll be wondering what I did with all my lines. Yep. So we're anticipating this might make a deeper correction here, go break the top, then come down. I showed you in the dollar index, right? That pattern. Now it could be dropping from this level. If that is going to happen, then what we will be looking for is this. We would look for sell setups. Last week there was a sell setup here. Actually, it turned out to be more of a running flat. It's dropping. If we get 1 hour flags, we will sell. If we get a 1 hour flag here today, we'll sell. That's a continuation pattern because there's already a big correction there. Right? We have a big correction in this one, a running flat. So this could go down more. We don't have any turning point as yet. It's not turning as yet. So that's correction for more downside. Maybe small, but more downside. Pong, on the other hand, broke the top. And this pattern here that is going up will eventually come back down to make a running flat. If you don't know what that is, which means if you're a new person watching me for the first time, watch some more of my webinars, you'll figure out what the patterns are. So I believe this would come a little more here, maybe make some more corrections, break the top, then come. We're anticipating a move down like that. I don't think it's actually starting from there to come. It could be, but because we slightly broke the top, there is still a possibility that it could be making a running flat. That possibility always exists if you break the top slightly and you're coming back. So, and it's not coming down very aggressive as of now. But we do have a sell setup, which means if we get a correction here, I think we're making a correction there. We'll look for a sell to break this low. And if it is a start of the bigger down move, which is the bigger impulse for the daily running flat, good for us. If it is not, then somewhere here it will start to go back up and we'll exit the trade. So I hope if you're watching me for the first time, this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, then you need to watch a lot more of my webinars on YouTube, and then it might start making some sense. Aussie, I think we're also looking for a regular flat here, not a running flat. We didn't break the top. So at some point, I think this is going to go back up. We're looking for a buy setup on the Aussie. Let it drop some more, or if it turns somewhere from here, we should be looking for a buy setup on the Aussie. We're in an uptrend on the Aussie, by the way. Trending right now on the uptrend in the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. If you want to know more about this, by the way, this is a webinar that I posted on YouTube on all the Aussie pairs, and that webinar was when Aussie was going downwards like this, when it was consolidating in that pattern. You should go watch that webinar, because what I told you when it was coming down here is that they're all going to break out, all the Aussie pairs, every single one of them. Well, it was a daily webinar on a daily chart, and I think I did it when they were somewhere here going down, that we anticipate more downside and then it's going to go. And it took a while, and as usual, some traders get impatient and said, you said it's going to go up, but it's keep going down. Well, that's why we call it wave analysis and not straight line analysis. Because if you understand patterns, then you will not, you don't make that rash decision that it's going down, which means the analysis is wrong, because it went exactly as we expected, and we're still going up. We're still in that trend going up. I still think this would be a trade today we could get. And this would eventually come down for deeper corrections. Yep, we will get deeper corrections, but it's not started as yet. New Zealand, pretty much the same thing. New Zealand on the 1 hour, there's a short-term trade where you see that. There's a short-term trade here in New Zealand. You can see a short-term sell setup from last week, Friday. I don't know if any one of my traders took it, but if they took it, they already took the profit out of it. There's a good chance we're going to have a small running flat here, and we will probably get one more down. So we might get a short-term sell here. I don't know if we will take the short-term sell in the Aussie. We're definitely not going to sell the New Zealand. We're definitely not going to sell the Aussie. The Aussie might go a little longer. We're not going to sell. We will sell in New Zealand if we get the chance at it. And then we will look for the upside. We can sell the pound as well, but we will not sell the euro. I don't think the euro has a good sell setup. So there's some of them we will take. I think the pound has a good one in terms of risk to reward if it falls. The Aussie might give us a good trade risk to reward if it goes. We'll see. I think the New Zealand. I keep saying the Aussie. Aussie was last week when we were selling this, right? In terms of the risk to reward, the come and break the low. This one was much higher than this one was. Remember, this sell was a good one, but it wasn't the best one. Swiss, I think we're making a flat for upside. I don't know if this is the end of that flat. 1, 2, 3, which is a contracting flat, pretty much like we have on the euro right now. That is a possibility, or we're making a more complex one. Right? You guys could figure out what I'm just drawing already, right? We're making a more complex one, and then we go. That possibility exists. So what we will do for the buy setup is we're going to wait to see whether we get a flag here. If we get a correction here, they're already starting to consolidate in that area. So if it turns out the pattern we know, a correction, a flag, something, we will take the buy. And we will assume that it's a contracting flat. This is the most difficult pattern to forecast, the contracting flat. Not because we don't see it, because contracting flats can eventually turn out to be running flats. And you take the buy here, and it might just go just a little up, come back down, go back up, drop, and then go. We might end up with a much bigger structure here. It looks upside. I can say that this could be the start of the upside we're looking for. But what's wrong with this drawing tool? Yep, it looks upside, but I don't think that we have a sharp impulse. We have had the Swiss done this also. They just kind of like break the top slightly. This is a contracting flat, break the top slightly and come back down. You've had that option as well, right? So we will wait to see if we get the sell setup or the buy setup from the top there. If we get the sell setup, we will go with it. Because we know Aussie, we know New Zealand, Aussie, once they finish that bigger flat, they're going to go back up. Euro, not so sure, because it could be the start of the downside, or they're going to go back up. Pound is definitely going to go back up once it finishes that pattern. So this one, we don't know whether it's going to come back, retest the low, and then go, because we've had that situation. This could be a complete pattern by itself, which means you've complete structure, which means you've complete the flat. You've got a 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have to go higher. We broke the top already. Remember, euro breaking the bottom here on this one, not that one, the daily, breaking the low here just by a couple pips. And we said once we broke that low, the chances are euro could go back up from there. And it took off. So if you take this one as a bigger version of what we're looking for in the Swiss, breaking the top there, then yes, you can assume that there could be downside. So we'll keep an eye for both trades in the trading room today. I would try my best to be in the trading room more often today, starting from today. I told you guys. So we're going to try to get it regularly going, at least a couple sessions. We're looking forward for all the suggestions from you for all the sessions we need to do and when and how and who can do them. So let's go. CAD. CAD is in the downside. On the daily, we were expecting it to go down some more, maybe just about this level. We're looking at this first impulse of the bigger correction, just a little more here, and then starting a deeper correction like that. That is if we're going to, if these two impulses would be equal. They don't have to be. That is just in case they're going to look equal. One could be longer, one could be shorter. Is it possible that CAD could be going back up for the deeper correction from here? Very possible. Maybe they're going to drop some more and then start doing it. But this would come. That would very likely come. It's very likely we will get that correction because of the pattern we're looking at. So on the 1 hour, it's kind of going back up, but we have a number of options of patterns that this could make. You could look at it as a short-term one with this. You could look at it as a longer-term one with this. Any of those two will be possible for downside. So any buy setup has to be just not a small 60 minutes flag, but a bigger correction, a bigger consolidation. That will confirm the upside. Any small flag will just probably bring you back to this stop, right? Bring you back to there and then down there. So we'll have to be very careful with this. Yen, we are only looking for buy setups in yen, even if it goes down. If it goes down, we will let it break the low, and then we will buy it. Now, for very short term, if you're in the trading room and you get in a short-term trade that, it's risk to reward like this one, risk to reward is going to be very good. It's going to come here and you can get a perfect setup here and you can get a stop there and you'll get this. We'll probably give it a try. But the longer picture, I don't want you to lose the view of buying yen, because if you start to focus on that and lose the bigger view of yen, which is upside, we might miss the trade. So eventually, we're expecting this to go up. We're expecting it to first break this top, and then we're expecting them to come back and break this top. So because we're looking for a 1, 2, 3. So why this top is important? Because once it breaks that top, when we come here, if we come and break that top, the chances are they could still come back here and then go break the other top, right? Which means this could be a bigger flat within the same structure we're in. There are a number of flats there already. Come back, make a new low, and still go back up. Then come down, right? So again, since I'm doing this for the general public, and there will be people who are watching this for the very first time, they will want to know, well, this sounds a little voodoo. How the hell do you know it's going to go up, and then it's going to come down, and then it's going to go back up, and then you're expecting it to come back down? Right? That sounds a little far-fetched if you're watching me for the very first time. Don't worry. These patterns are specific patterns. These are patterns that repeat themselves over and over in the chart. Now, when we're looking for a specific pattern, we know the internal structures of that pattern of how it should be. So what I'm drawing here is not new. It's a pattern that already exists in the charts and many, many times repeated itself. So all those pieces you see up and down needs to complete itself to be the pattern we're looking for. If we think there's going to be a change in the structure as it develops, then we look for the next possible pattern that we know. And by what we know, it means we've studied all the charts, we've studied all the existing patterns, we've studied their internal features, and what we're looking for is which one is going to appear, and what are the internal parts, and how would it look. And if it's going to do exactly that, then we take advantage of that movement. Right? So that is if you're watching me for the first time. If you've been watching me for a year or two, you know what I'm talking about. Aussie Swiss. This is another Aussie pair that I already made the daily forecast on YouTube that this is going to go up. It was at the top. I said it's going to come back down. It was here. I said it's going to come down. It's going to break this low, and then it's going to go back up. This is the second time you hear me, or the third time you hear me talking about breaking the low and then go back up. All right, see this? It's going to come break the low and go back up. So for new traders watching this, this is very important because it's a specific pattern. So you heard me said we expect the dollar index to go break the low and then go back up, right? This is what we're looking for. That is a pattern that we're looking for. And those patterns behave exactly the same way all the time. Well, 90% of the time. So we're looking for that. Goes up. It was coming down and it kept coming down, and some people were like a bit worried that this guy has no idea what he's saying. He keeps saying it's going to go back up. It's not. Well, it's going up. It's completed the pattern and it's going up. What are we looking for? More upside. Short term, let's see. Oh, we do have a buy setup in the short term. I think we can see a series of running flats. This could probably be one of them. This could be one of them. And if that is one of them, we're probably going to get an upside. So we would look for the setup. We'll see if we have a flag here, and then we can go for the trade. I think we might be getting a daily flag, and this might turn out to be one of the very good ones. Sorry, a 1 hour flag. There's a daily, a 1 hour flag. I'll put this for a buy setup that will be both focusing. Guys in the trading room, we can keep an eye on this one, because if this is a running flat, that's a very good setup for us. If it turns out it's not, if it turns out this is the top, and this is making 1, 2, 3 for downside, we'll get out for break even. So we can look at this as a possible. This is a nice setup for us. Aussie Yen. This broke the low, so we're assuming there's a flat forming here for a little more downside than the upside, because I don't see anything to put this with. We'll check in the trading room if there is anything to put that with. If not, there is a chance that this is going to go here, come back, and then go. This we are also looking for upside. By the way, another Aussie pair in the daily that I did. You guys should watch that webinar. You should watch it so you can have an idea what we do, right? So This is the pattern we're looking for, right? And I think we were somewhere here, or we were just breaking this up, and I said, watch it. It has to come back down here and then go back up because we're looking for a specific running flat pattern. It works, right? Every time. Again, we're looking for upside here, more upside. I don't think we're coming down as yet. We're still in the uptrend. We do have divergence, which is a sign that this is finishing off at some point, but I don't think it's finishes yet, which means it could still go more. On the 4-hour, I think we're good to go, especially in this piece, which is amazing. We have one more move up. And on the 1-hour, I think we're still good to go. We have divergence in here. We might, but that doesn't mean anything. We'll just look for a squeeze. I think we're getting an AB squeeze. Let me just pull this across here. Oh, okay, it's not going. My traders, you look for channels, which means you're looking for this one, you're looking for this one, and we're looking for one more up. At least one more up, and then we'll look for downside. I think we're in a channel there. Aussie CAD, daily, same pattern I was looking for. Same corrective structure, sorry. Same corrective structure. And then up. We're getting a flat here. I think we're going to go more up. So let's see, look at that in the 1-hour. Yep, 1-hour definitely looks more up. We'll check these and see how far more we can go before there, because they all have divergence, and at least the daily, the 4-hour. Yep, daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour divergence. So we'll have to be careful of the buys. It might be the last impulse up before you get a deeper pullback, or even a much reversal back there. I think it's more of a deeper pullback. But Aussie, New Zealand might be the key to this, because I don't think this one is going to go up very much. I think this one, we're just expecting this one to come slightly up and then downside. So we will watch all the Aussie pairs, because the Aussie New Zealand might be the one that gives us the clue. The up moves have happened. This is probably going to come up, break this top. It might even break that top slightly. Let's put it like this. Yeah, we might even break this top slightly before it falls. So maybe it breaks it up, maybe not. Let's see in the 4-hour what it looks like. It looks like they're going to break it. It doesn't have to break that top, but if they do, that will confirm the bigger structure that we're looking for. If it starts to go from here, then we'll have to just assume that this one fell short of breaking the top before it goes. So right now it's going up. Don't trade it. You're not probably going to get a trade based on the way we trade. If we take any trade, we probably get break even. See, if you take any trade, you close it for break even. So probably leave it until it breaks it up, and then we'll look for the sell setup. Euro Oz is coming down. And we are in this structure. Okay, we are breaking out of this one. Well, we haven't broke out as yet, but we pretty much soon could break out of that. So two things you would look for. Either it breaks out of that structure and come and retest this low. That's one option. You're going to have a big trade. You already have a big trade going. You're going to have a big trade there. That's one option. The second option is they go and make a new high. So this goes back up, come back here, go make a new high, and then come. All right, that are two options. So I think we're in the downside because we have a big daily correction here. Come on, okay, I'll leave that there. We have a big daily correction. We broke it and we're going down. So on the 1-hour, it's looked like it's going very nice. In the 1-hour, they're not very nice trade setups, which means you can get into the trade, but you'll have to stay with it for a long time, which by itself is a risk. Let's put it on the 4-hour, see if I can get it's 4-hour. This is the breakout. You've got a flag, got a correction. You're making another correction here. More of a correction. So at the start, you probably get some good one, but here as you go, you get very short-term trades. again, you might get a very short-term trade here. So if you get in the trade, you have to take profit once it starts breaking low. Take the profit off, look for the next trade, because the pullbacks are deep and they will take you out for break even. So you have to be aware of how you're going to trade this if you're going to trade it. I think the Euro New Zealand would be the same. Downside on the daily for most traders who haven't seen the daily setup, we're looking for a big flat that should come and break this low. That will be this one. We're expecting this to come back, not break the low, sorry, come back a little more, and then we're expecting upside. We'll be looking for running flat here. So there is some more downside, and then we're looking for upside. Just a little more downside. So go to the daily. It's going good. We do have divergence. Look at the 4 hour, you have divergence. Look at the 1 hour. It's still going. You have some divergence, but that's mostly for correction. I think we have a running flat forming here. So we can look for downside. Short term, it's still downside. So you're going to still have some sell setups. So we'll take the trade if we get them. All sell setups we get, we'll take. EuroCAD, it's some more downside than upside, but you probably wouldn't get to sell it. Right? It's some more downside. I think we might even look at a more complex pattern with this piece in the middle here. We were looking for a simple 1, 2, 3 pattern. But then this piece here became very complex. Right? It came down, it went up, came down, went up, back, came down. So once it does that, possibilities they're going to come here, come back here, and then go. That will give you a complex B wave structure in here, which means this would be 1, 2. We can look for upside, look for this, come back here, finish this one, and then take off. So you're literally going to be going sideways, but you can trade, especially to the upside. If it starts to go, we can trade it. So let's see in the 1 hour, do we have anything for the upside? Well, not as yet. It still looks downside. This still looks downside, right? It could still go more. Short term, all the trades you take here will be short term, even if you get the buy setup, because it doesn't move very fast. Euro Swiss, 4 hour, we're still in a big correction here, big daily correction. Put it to the daily so some traders could see it. It's a big daily corrective structure. We're expecting this to probably come back here, somewhere around here, give us that flat, and then go up. That is the expectation, but it could still be that the B wave gets more complex, which means this is 1, 2, you get another 1, 2, 3 here, you go back up there, come back here, still go, still come, and then go. You just get a very long, drawn-out sideways move. You've seen the chart done that before, right? They go sideways for years, probably. You've seen some going sideways within that range for like 5 years. So you're not really getting big up move on that. Even in the trade setups, you're not getting great ones. But for today, we are going to be looking for a short-term sell setup, which means a short move like that, a short move like that, you're not going to get a big move. Euro Yen, it's coming down. So let's see if we're going to go more down. That's a big question. Question is whether we're making a bigger running flat here. We weren't too happy with the first running flat. So maybe this one is a bigger running flat here. I'm looking at the impulses only. Come back here and then go. This becomes the B wave in the middle. So we can look for some more downside here if that's the case. Let's see if we have any 1 hour sell setups. Well, not as yet. We don't have any. But if you get any correction here, we will sell. If it starts to go back up, impulse correction, we will buy. We will assume that this is it, and we're going. We'll try to figure out what it is, or this is a separate one of its own. Make a top, you get 1, you get 2, you get 3, and you go. So it's either the bigger running flat is in play, or this one is in play. This would be an expanding flat. We just wait for the setup. I think this week we will get it and we'll look for the trade. Euro pound, we need some more upside and then downside, right? So you needed to complete this pattern. We needed to go back up there and complete this pattern, the B wave, break that top, and then we're looking for the downside. So again, reminder to new traders watching it, why break this top and come back down? Well, that's a specific pattern. And if you want to see how these patterns work, is it really going to go break that up and come back? Or is there any chance of that happening? Or is this just a pure guesswork? Well, look at the webinar I did on the Aussie, because those actually happened. Those were exactly what I was saying. Watch it to come break these lows, and then they're going to go back up, right? And that actually happened. So you actually have a series of 8 or 9 charts that I did that repeat the patterns we did. And you can go check it. You'll see for yourself, right? So does it work? It works in all time frame. So on the daily, we were expecting that, which means on the 1 hour, we're looking for trade to the upside if we get it. That when you start to look for the trade, you have to be sure that the downside move is finished. Because when I do a daily forecast, it doesn't mean it's going to go from here. It means this could still work its way down, go back up, and then come down. So we are looking for the completion of the down move before we get into that up move. And we have to have the setups for it as well. For my traders, please have some patience because I'm doing this webinar for the general public. It will also be published free for them. And there are thousands of them who have been following me for years. So, and they've been writing me lately, like, where are you? We need your forecast. And I do it for them for years, so I may as well just continue doing it for them. We know they're not going to join the group, right? Because they've been following me for years and they have. You guys have joined. You made your decision to join. You're getting much more than they're getting. But that doesn't mean, we still do for them. Still do what you have to do, right? So watch for the up move. If we don't have an up move, any sell setup you get that you take will be very short term. Pangos, let's go in the daily. Give you a fast view there. We broke the daily structure. That is this one. And if you've been following me last year or the year before, I've been telling you that this will go down. Looks like it's going down. So the only question we have about it going down, is this all the correction? I don't like that to be all the correction. And there are many reasons for that. So there's still a chance of this coming back here and then going down. That chance still exists. It is going down. The question is whether we're going to have that. If not, we'll just be looking for sell setups once we get the sell setups from this point. Go back there and then come down. We don't have any sell setup right now, and I don't think we even have any buy setup. Any buy setup you get will be very short term. If we get this to make a flag here and go back up, that would be a better setup for buy. Let's see. We definitely don't have any sell setup as it stands right now. We can't try to sell this, but I don't see the setup on it. There is no setup to sell. Pound New Zealand, at least for today. These webinars are only for today, right? Every day I do them. So the chart will be updated tomorrow. Sorry, excuse me. And you will get to see it tomorrow as well. All right? So let's go. By the way, if I cough, sneeze, anything, excuse me, because I'm still getting a cold from the cold weather in Russia. And it's minus 23 degrees Celsius today. That is cold. That is really, really cold. And I'm sitting just in front of the window. The place is heated, but you can tell it's really cold out there. Actually, I'm wearing a very thin sweater just to be sure, because I'm cold. I'm close to the windows, and the windows, they are cold. The windows themselves are cold. So you do get, the heat is not evenly distributed all over. So I don't want to have another cold. And I should have probably introduced this. I should have told you guys this also before I go on. For those traders who don't know, my traders know, I've already had the COVID, and thank God I survived it. Right? I've had it like mildly to, I wouldn't say, not serious. It wasn't serious, but I did have some symptoms. I had lost my smelling and all of that. So for those traders who've been following for a long while and wondering what I've been doing at the end of the year or so, I was busy trying to survive. Because I had some symptoms. I had temperature, very high temperature. I had coughing, sneezing. I lost my smell, sense of smell, and a few more things. They were very, very thing. And not only I had it, my entire family had it. So kind of, I was off for a whole month from trading. I think a month or more from trading and everything. That's just for information because I'm good now, right? You can see that. So stay away from that thing if you can. If you haven't got it, stay away from it. If you've got it, let's hope you have immunity now. So just for information's sake, talking about the weather in Russia. Let's go. Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is going to go up some more. We are expecting it to break somewhere, either this top or this top, and then this pattern should likely go down. But we don't have any sell set up, and we probably wouldn't be trading it today, tomorrow, unless we get a great setup, because the buy is not good risk to reward what we think, and the sell is not ready. Pound Swiss, pretty much similar pattern, right? Very similar in the nature. We were looking at this pattern last year, and we were trading this one. The ups and the downs in it because we understood it. We kind of figure out what that pattern was doing. The only thing that didn't go perfect was this one did not break the low of this, which we thought it would do before it goes up. So I think we can expect this to go up some more, maybe break that top, and then look for downside. So on the 1 hour, we're looking for the buy setup if we get it. If we get a buy setup here today, I think we can take the trade. So we'll be looking at this trade today for a buy setup. Pound Yen. Okay. Did this happen on Friday? By the way, any one of you got it? Any one of you guys got it? And it's this piece. Anybody got the Pound Yen? If you got it, great. If not, we'll buy. We'll look for buy setups. Let's see if it is breaking out totally. We're expecting this to go down one more. This whole structure, we're expecting to go down one more. We spoke about that in the trading room. We're looking for it intensively. We're looking for the top. We might eventually get a regular flat. I don't think they'll go make a running flat. It's still possible. This is still possible. Go back up, make a running flat, and then come down and go. We're still expecting this to happen. So we will not take the sell until we get the flag. Right? You don't want to get trapped in that. So if we get a flag here today, we'll take it. The buy is no big deal if you don't. Even if it gives the buy setup, let's say this decide to go back up, you'll not get the buy setup. And try to buy it from the top is not a good idea. Right? Because once they break the top, we're anticipating they can do this. We'll get this one and then we'll look upside. Let's see. Looks pretty much like a good trade setup. Pound CAD. This one is just going sideways here within this range, and both sides possible right now. It's in this kind of a squeeze looking pattern, right? It's not a squeeze, not a triangle. It's just looking like a squeeze. It's not a triangle. So the question is, which one is going to complete themselves first? Which piece will we put with which piece to make what pattern, especially when they're squeezing like this? Come on. It will depend on how you look at the structure. So if you start from here, 1, 2, 3, then you're looking for 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 1, 2, 3. We're still in this piece. So we're probably going to be stuck there. Any trade setup we get, buy or sell, will be short term until it confirms. Because after this structure, after this here, we were anticipating the break of the top. And that didn't happen. So this one was pretty clear. I think this was easy, right? All of you remember that. We're expecting the break of the top, and that didn't happen. So the only way I see this going down from here is a contracting flat, right? Is some kind of a contracting flat like that. Maybe, maybe not. So, and because it's consolidating at the top here, the chances are we would assume that it will go break the top and then come down. So the question is the pattern complete for it to go break the top? Where do we start in this piece? This one is sharp and this one is sharp. The rest of them is not that sharp or relatively sharp. And I think the only one we can see that is clearly the one we would start with would be this. So I can either this one is over here and they come back, or they go make a new high here, break the stop, and then come down. So if we get a buy setup, it's going to be short term. If we get a sell setup here, it could be short term until it breaks this, or it could come back here. So as it stands right now, none of the two trades are good trades. New Zealand yen will trade something else. New Zealand yen is coming back down. Let's see where we are in the structure. We're coming down. We have divergence. 4 hour. There was 4 hour divergence as well, and there's 1 hour divergence. I'll assume somewhere at the top there. And we're coming down very strong. Let's see where it looks like in the 1 hour. It's still possible more upside, but most likely I think we might be going back for the deeper correction, because in the weekly, this would be one move up. See? Although we have a correction here, I think that would be one move up. Remember, we're still open to this possibility. And then we spoke about that in the trading room, and we're still open to that possibility. So if we get sell setups, we'll take them. All the sell setups that came with it we'll take them. We don't have any right now. The most likely thing we could get is a running flat. I think the most likely thing we get here now is a running flat. We could look for that. If we get a running flat, we'll sell it. So that would be a sell setup. For those who don't know what a running flat is, it's an impulse, a correction, another impulse, but you broke below. So after that, it's a sell setup. New Zealand Swiss. Same here. All the New Zealand pairs, we have the same setup. I think most likely we're going to go up some more. They're very similar to the Aussie structures on the longer term, where you got these deeper corrections. You got another correction here. You might get another correction here. I think we'll probably be looking at this and then upside. So let's see if in the 4 hour, if we're coming down more. Not necessarily. We could be going up from here as well. Could be going up from there. So we'll keep our eyes open for both directions, both sides. Short-term sell, short-term buy. New Zealand CAD. Same here. We have divergence in the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I think we have 1 hour divergence. Yeah, I think we should from this piece. We'll check it with the last two pieces. That would be internal, not there. I don't think we have any divergence in this in the 1 hour, but in the 4 hour we do have. So if this is a running flat, if this turns out to be a running flat, any flag we get will buy. Just wait for a flag and we'll take the trade. If they consolidate here, we'll sell. We'll not sell the flag, we'll sell the consolidation. A bigger one. And if it makes a flag on the upside, we're buying. So if we get a flag on the upside, we're buying. We'll assume that it's making a running flat there. Canadian. Okay, this is another sell setup. Coming back to this one. I think we're going to come back somewhat here. Let's see if we get any sell setup on it daily. Nothing. 1 hour. No setup as yet on it. We can't get any trade. Not a buy, not a sell. So let's wait for the flags. I don't think we're looking for the buy on this one, because in the bigger picture, it doesn't have the buy setup as yet. We don't have the buy setup unless we break out of this structure entirely and then correct. So what we're expecting is that this will continue with the drops. This is what we were expecting. To continue with a drop to this level. If not, it has to break out, consolidate, and then we'll consider it longer term to retest the top. So right now, we're not looking for that. We're anticipating more downside. So this is more like a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3. I think we can go with this flat in the middle here. So I can see this coming. Let's see Let's go back on the 1 hour and see whether we have any setup. No setup as yet. A running flat might be possible, or just any big flag. Any flag would go with. Any flag we get. Okay, let me go a little faster. CAD Swiss, nothing to stay away from that. Swiss Yen, let's see if we have anything in it. Not as yet. It's just consolidating in the daily here, so just be careful with this consolidation. Let's see if we have any trade in the 1 hour. No, not today. We have to wait for a flag, so let that go. Silver, sorry, not silver, copper. Copper is going up one more. We're likely going to have one more up, and then you can, if you get the buy short term, but it's most likely the sell you're looking for, right? You're looking for the sell in this one back to the downside on the this pattern. It's still going up. It can still go some more. I still think they can go. This is the top, so there's a lot more to go. But I'm looking at this pattern for downside. So maybe a little more there, and then we're going to get the downside. It looks very much like you're going to get a drop. So go back to the 1 hour, and any buy setup you take has to be short term, which means you have to get out for the, you get a trade, you get in, you get out. Any sell setup, you can put it to break even and keep it for a longer time. US oil. Okay, you might be another consolidation for upside. It's still going. This could probably give you another consolidation here for upside. You'll have to buy on the break of the top. You'll have to take profit off. Like I said, for a reminder for everybody, because of everything that's happening in the US, most of these trades, you don't want to keep them. You want to take them and close them as fast as you can. Take out your profit or close it for a loss, and that's it. Overnight, don't keep any trade. My traders, at least, don't keep any trade overnight until the next couple of days. All right, let's see what happens there. Or don't probably even trade if you're not going to be in front of your computer. So Brent, same thing. I don't think we're going down as yet. These are just corrections for now. I don't see any flag or anything that says we're selling. So it's mostly corrections for more upside. Natural gas. This would either give you a chance to buy, or they're going to keep falling, retest the low, and then we can look for the buy. You're very much at the bottom here now. Very close to the bottom of the structure. See? So I think they would either retest the low, and then we go up, or you got a buy setup here. All right, so let's see which one. Depending on how you look at it. If this is all a correction, if that's all the correction, we're going up. So the buy is the best option. Look for the buy setup from here. This is going up, but very slow. So if you take any trade, you'll have to be careful. And they have one sharp move that hasn't been fulfilled. They fulfilled the previous sharp move. This one, I think, we have a few smaller ones, but you might still get a bigger one like this on the way, right? 4 hour, 1 hour. Buy setups, short-term buy setups. You're getting flags, you're getting corrections, short-term buy setups. It doesn't go fast, it doesn't go anywhere. Same would be here. Still looks like a buy setup. You're still in this channel going up. Series of running flats in here. Come on. There's a series of running flats in there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this is another flat and just go up again, pull back down, go back up. Very short term. We're not turning it yet. We don't have any turning point. Okay. We can assume that this is the running flat. This one is completed. So this still has more up move. At least short term. There's a running flat there, a smaller running flat. There's a smaller running flat for upside, and then we'll see what happens. S&P 500 has the same structure. Same running flat here. Come on. Pull back, another flat here, and then probably pull back again, right? Another flat here, go back up, pull back, and then go again. We'll probably get another running flat there. So if it goes, you have to take profit. You can't keep it. DAX, same thing, very similar structure. So we can probably assume that this here is the running flat in the DAX. Not the best one. And this one is upside. I don't see the sell setup on them as yet. Is it ready? What if that is the top and they're going down? Let's just assume that this is the top. You have the running flat. This is the top of the structure and we're going down. It's first is not going as aggressive as we'd anticipated to go. Secondly, you don't have anything to sell. So unless they consolidate here again, which does not make sense if you're going down, right? You just made a flat here. This should be dropping, not consolidating here. So if it consolidates, it might turn out to be more of a corrective structure rather than the downside. AU200, same thing. You're looking for a little more up. You just want this to go up a little more. And then we'll see what happens if it ends the structure. It's going to come down. It's just not finished. Nifty's still going up. So if you're buying, you still have good buys. You're getting another flag, another pullback, which means it's another buy setup. Let's see if we're getting divergence now. Slight internal divergence, but no problem. You can still get another push up. You don't have any sell setup unless it starts making a consolidation for downside. Tesla's still up. You're getting another correction to buy. Still up from there. Amazon down. Amazon is only temporarily down, right? This is a consolidation. So this is going to drop. We can either look at it as a complex 1, 2, 3, go back up, come down back, and then go. Or whatever that is going to be, we can see the internals of this and drop here and then go back up. So Amazon is having some downside, probably to this level. It's about the bottom of the first impulse. And then it could be more complex. I believe it's going to be more complex, which means it's going to stay in this range for a while, make a bigger pattern, and then go. But once it comes into that area and give you buy setup, you can go further. What if it takes off? SLR, okay, you're confirming the more downside already. So when it was here, we said watch it because you could be trending downwards, and I think they're trending downwards. So you have sell setups going, right? We can put the bigger one, or we can put it like this. We haven't broken the lows yet, but they'll probably go break the low. So it's more of a sell. 8 to M. Okay, this one, be careful because the likelihood is going to come here before it goes down. Make a flat or something like this. Make a flat and then drop. I don't think they're going immediately. BA Finance. Okay, this is coming deeper than we expected. Oh, can we look at that as the end? I don't think that this is a small one of its own. Let's see. Let me look at the daily, see where we are in the bigger structure. You could be. We could be coming back here deeper and then go. I think that's a possibility. So if you start to see good sell setups there in the 4 hour, not the 1 hour, then you can confirm the bigger downside. On the 1 hour, it is just a flag for the continuation of that one. But if we get a 4 hour sideways move, 1 hour, you'll have to take off the trade. If you get a 1 hour flag, it drops, take the profit off. But if you get a 4 hour consolidation, that's a good sign they're going to go back for the daily running flat I showed you. Alliance. Okay, we're going up, and watch this here. They'll probably come back to that level, drop, and then we'll see what happens. I don't think it's completing itself. I can see 1, 2, 3. I can see 1, 2, 3. We're probably going to get another 1, 2, 3 down and then up. That would complete the structure before they go. So once it go up, it's going to come back there. So you can buy your way to the top here. It's a buy setup. Look for the buy to that level, and from there we'll see what happens. Bitcoin. Let's see. Bitcoin made a very big move. So when Bitcoin was down and I was saying that this thing is going to go up, I think somebody went on YouTube. That was last year, sometime way back, and somebody went, and I didn't think it was going to come here. I think we were down at the bottom somewhere here or so. When I said this, would probably go back up like this, right? I draw like 1, 2, 3, come back here and then go. I think that was the pattern I draw. So we were down at the bottom here. and it went up a little and it started to come down, and somebody was going crazy, said, well, you said it's going to go up. When it's going to go up? Well, it went up much more than I thought it was going to go up. Right? Just in case you were asking, I never thought we were going to go here, because I thought we were going to make a big B wave flat here, then go. We did make a B wave flat. So the only question I have is this some kind of a weird running flat? Because if that is the case, then it's going to go higher. If not, do we have a contracting flat here? Because I didn't think, well, running flat, could we look at this as a 1, 2, 3? This is not sharp to the downside, so I don't think that works. I'm inclined to believe this is still the B wave. And we have seen worse impulses like that, where we've got expansion or running flats that are much more crazier than this one, right? We've seen that. Remember the Aussie weekly? A crazy one, and it took a long while before you figure out. So we might take a long while to figure this out as well. But when you're at the top there, it doesn't keep going. That's what you have to know, right? That's a jump, pull back. That's a move, pull back. So even if we assume that this is all a correction, which I don't think it is, I think this pullback would be sharp. Look at an equivalent of something like this, right? And then we'll get another one up. So what we're going to do is go to the 4 1 hour. And I don't think the pullback is over, so which means we might get some more downside. Any consolidation here to upside would be short term, which means you got to, if you get a trade set up and you take it, you have to get out with the profit. Don't keep it. It's not going to go to heaven today. Right? The idea that people want to jump in at the top because, oh, it has moved this much, it's going to go to 50,000 or 100,000. It might go there, but it's not going now. It corrects itself and then it goes. So every time you've been moved that much, expect a deeper correction. XRP, on the other hand, didn't go anywhere. So if you think there's some kind of a clue of how they move, then this might be a very good suggestion for you. I'll do a separate webinar on XRP again, because when it was here, I think it was in here, I was telling people to buy, or I think it was somewhere in here when I was telling them to buy in the 1 hour, that it's going to go up, right? Yeah, from here. I think from this level, I was telling people to buy. It did make a move up. It pulled back. It made another move up. The question is now, is this part of some kind of a bigger correction? We're making an ending move here. Then we're going to totally go up. So if we're going to break the lows to go back up, we'll likely break this low, which would put you somewhere around the 10 cents value. See? We'd likely break that low. That is going to put you around 10 cents. And if after that we have a setup that says buy, and you would look for buy setup, because it could, after that, it could stay there for years, right? I don't know that these things don't collapse, right? So if this thing fall and it comes here, it could stay here for ages before it does go that, even if it is going to do that. We don't know. I don't know. I don't trade these stuff. But I can tell you what I would probably do is, if I see it fall below here and I see a setup that says it can go up, I'll take a buy. I can buy some. Because the chances are this one, if it behaves the way we expect it to behave with the very similar patterns that we're looking at, chances are it's going to come back to retest this top. So once it gets to this level, you can start to see a move back to the top there. So you'll be buying at 10 cents. And if it works the way we said, like all the patterns work, even the Bitcoin pattern, then the chances are it's going to come back to about $3.50. $3.50. That's a very good investment. So that's how I would say, if you want to trade this, that would be how I would trade it. So right now, short term here, there's no serious trade you should look at. ETH, some more downside short term. This piece short term, I'm expecting an impulse down, at least one like this, and maybe lower. There's a reason this could go lower, because in the daily structure, weekly structure, we already completed the pattern, right? See, and the weekly structure, you're back at the top here. You kind of like do this, you kind of like do that, you kind of like do 1, 2, 3 here, probably come back here, and then you could do that again. So there's a chance that this could go much deeper. So you can start to look for sell setups from here. LTC, I think we're going to go deeper as well, because this one also completed a pattern we're looking at. You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, and you've got an impulse down. So there's a chance you're going to get another impulse down to this level. And then up. Well, not to 0, but a little lower. Can this go up some more before it comes down? Yep, it can go. They can go all the way back to the top here. This can work its way up all the way to the top and then come down. So if you get buy setups, you can take them. But short term, right now, we're looking for a sell setup. Short term, I think this is going to go down some more. Right, all this consolidation here is going to go down some more. And then probably the upside. So the short term range is downside. And then after that, if you're lucky, they keep going down. If not, they stop, you exit the trade, you look for buys if you get the setup. So those are the last ones I do. We have more charts, but we look at them individually, mostly in our trading room when we go there, because these are not charts that a lot of people trade. These are charts that some of my traders only trade. So we look at them in the trading room. For those of you watching this webinar for the first time, it's a bit long. Normally it will be 45 minutes to 50 minutes. This one is about an hour plus, I think, because I stopped a lot of places to tell you about myself, what I'm doing, as well as I stopped to be more detailed in some of the structures for you on the daily and all of that. If you watch this to the end, great. Keep watching tomorrow, the next day, and for the next 2 weeks. Anything you would want to know, send me a Skype message. The Skype is at the very start. My Skype is at the very start of the webinar, and I will answer your questions. You can also write me at ProWave Edge Facebook page. You should find it. You'll see me there in this old bit. So thank you very much. Thanks to my traders for being here. I'll see all of you in the trading room. As soon as I stop the recording, we'll get into the trading room and we'll start. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching. And for those of you who see it, if you can share it, wonderful. For my traders, it will be on YouTube, and you can share the YouTube link. I try to share only the YouTube link anywhere. It will also be on Facebook, but that will be the YouTube link there, so you can share that as well. So thanks and bye. Let me stop the recording.